throw this thing on. It's me, Dr. Bean, here playing another video game for you because I have literally nothing else better to do. Aside from making all those videos, yes, I'm still doing that, yes. However, I figured I'd take some time to show you what I've been doing in my off time. Yes, Helix, you're very cute, thank you. So, this is Stellaris, my latest guilty pleasure / aggravation for our local succubi. Or succubus. Yes. Anyway, Stellaris, it is a grand strategy game about, conquering the galaxy or not conquering the galaxy, depending on how you're feeling that day. It really is a choose-your-own-adventure type of game. However, you will be managing an entire space empire as you claw your way through the stars, trying to survive the endgame crises. And the most recent DLC that was added to this game was the Machine Age, which does a lot of neato things for machine populations and empires, which we're probably going to end up playing today. However, what we're going to do is we are going to make a new empire, perhaps. Let's see. New. As you can see here, there are quite a few nations that I have created myself. Most of them robots or disgusting aliens, because that's just my vibe. We have the Mandragora Transstellar Industries. We have the Bane. Are those names coming through on the screen okay? Ah, well, it's the frame. What are you going to do about it? We have Talos Omega, which is a artificial intelligence network, which we may have to make some tweaks to before we get back to them. The Ashes of Carthage, a human offshoot that basically had their entire planet decimated by nuclear bombs, which gives them increased leader lifespan. Helix. My cat Helix is here. He's very, very, very needy. Very needy. You need a brushing. Goodness gracious. There you go, Sam. We have humanity's final invention, based on the hypothetical theory that an artificial general intelligence could be created very soon. And in my headcanon for this species, it's a robotic rogue servitor. So, basically, they have updated themselves into a singularity to the point where they are able to just manage everything, and humanity does nothing. Nothing at all. Pretty much a utopia for them, but I'm playing as the robots, the workers in that situation, so it gets a little sketchy for us, but we make sure that the humans are well taken care of. They worry about nothing, want for nothing, etc. We have the Creed Mechanicus. You could probably tell what my inspiration was for these little guys. The United Kingdoms of Alfheim, because I wanted to feel what it feels like to be a pacifist player. And the Stellar Mycelia Collective, run by the Sporesi. They're fungoids. And basically, they are able to spread across the galaxy using space fauna. Kind of like how squirrels eat nuts and bury them places, and they grow into trees later on. It's the same premise. And then, of course, you have all the other pre-made... Ooh, these guys are actually new. That's interesting. All these pre-made empires that you can play in. And each one has their own ethics, their own ways of going about, their own governments. We even have megacorporations and criminal syndicates. Oh, you know what? I may have accidentally made a copy of an existing machine race. Oh well, that's fine. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Every time I look at these, there's more and more and more. Very interesting indeed. But today we are going to make a brand new empire. I don't really like the humanoids. I'm not entirely sure if we should jump immediately into robots. You have mammalians, reptilians, avians, arthropods, molluscoids, fungoids, one of my personal favorites, plantoids, lithoids, necroids, toxoids, another one of my favorites, cybernetic versions of races that could be upgraded. And we'll just skip over here so we can show you what that looks like. Typical mushroom man, right? Now he's perfect. But we're not going with him because I've already made an empire that looks like him. We need to think a little bit out of the box today. As I click on machine immediately. No. We need to step out of our comfort zone. Let's see. You know, despite the premise being very, very tantalizing, I don't play as necroids too often. So as we go through this, let me explain what our plan for today is. Our plan is to literally end the galaxy with science, while taking our entire colony and moving them somewhere better. Another galaxy, per se. And I don't really... let's see. We'll go with necroids today. Dreary Armada, the IS has. What should their name be? What do they suggest? Molar knock. Ooh. Molar knock sounds like something that you find at a bar on the floor, under a table. Let's see. Thinking. Maybe I'd have a better time thinking if I had a different face to look at. Oh, these guys are on cranes. That's fun. No. How about a rock person? We've never played as a rock person. And this is exactly why it takes me so long to play this game. Most of your time is going to be spent just in the empire creation. No, we should probably... Decisions, they're all so difficult. Let's see. These are fun-looking little guys. I can't remember where else they were, though. Ah, there you are. You're a fun-looking little guy. Sucking machines. It's my weakness. What can I say? You know what? Where are they? Oh. This is very... As you can tell, these guys are very much my vibe. I have a soft spot for these. But I think we'll go with these today. Yes. We will name this species the Krang. Not because of any particular franchises or anything, but just because it sounds cool right now and I need to come up with something quickly so we can get started. The Krang. Krangai, plural? No. That'd be actually kind of funny. Krangai. Yes. Many Krangai. Adjective Krang. Next. Name lists. Well, we're not really Necroids anymore. Void Lurcher, Starsick Lover. Also, these name lists, you could change the name of literally everything that you own in the game. Obviously, you can't go around naming galaxies that you haven't laid any claim to, but these are just presets. Rotten Reapers, the Moist Defilers of Suns, the Tyrannic Leeches. That sounds fun. KEC, Krang Entity Craft. So the ships will come out with this prefix, KEC, Arbiter of Filth, etc., etc. It's a good time. Traits. This is where we decide the biological traits of our species. And these will be... They will need to be intelligent, first of all. And as you've noticed, we are out of trait points immediately. So we'll need to add some negative modifiers in order to make quota on points and such. They'll also be weak. These are nerds, after all. We're making a nerd colony. Inorganic breath. This would increase the upkeep of our population by a whopping 50%, but you also get early game gases as they breathe out gas. But I'm not entirely sure that's worth 3 points. When we could do something like... natural engineers. Yes, they look like an engineering race. Nomadic? No. Charismatic? No. Repugnant, perhaps. But we only have 1 point left, so we better buy something that's 2 points. Rapid breeders? That looks right. That's the face of a man who can get it. Moving on. You can choose their type of planet that they prefer. You have frozen, wet, and dry. Wet is ocean worlds, continental, tropical. Continental is closest to Earth. Frozen are Arctic worlds, alpine worlds, and tundra worlds. Dry worlds are deserts, arid worlds, and savanna worlds. Cradle of Decay. Nope. Grim Awakening. Nope. Corrosion's Nest. Deathly Rock. Corrosion's Nest. Verminion. Not really a whole lot of names here. Now, I guess that's why I'm the content creator, because I'm creative. We'll just call it Nexus. There we go, wonderful. Perishing Light, that's a fine star name. We'll live in a random binary, which is 2 stars, by the way. Toxoid City. And you can choose pretty much every little thing, including the room that all of your pups stand in whenever they talk to people. This one fits the Toxoid vibe. And one of the most important things is that we can choose our origin. Give or take that we meet the criteria for it. So we could be a necrophage, which is a civilization that evolved as a parasite forced to feed off other sapient life forms to sustain itself. We would have to be a hive mind to be a progenitor hive, which we could do, technically. Teachers of the Shroud, we would have to be a spiritualist. Yeah, we could be a vassal of an advanced AI empire, which crumbles a short while after, so that we eventually do get freedom. Fruitful partnership where alien space whales carry our seeds to different worlds. And then there is synthetic fertility, which is very good for tall empires. Basically, our entire species would have a genetic disease that leaves them unable to reproduce. And as they age out and die, well, they need to come up with another option. And that option is in digital salvation, which means that we get to turn all of our population into a computer program, so should we so choose. We can also choose to just basically make a synthetic workforce, where everyone's a robot instead of in a computer, you see. A very Soma. And I always have the hardest time making these decisions, honestly. Mechanist. We would have to be materialist, which is pretty on par. You know what? That fits the species. They like robots, I like robots. Let's do it. And we will need to be materialistic in order to do our research, because what we're going to do today, and probably over the course of at least 1 or 2 live streams, because this game takes a while, is that we are going to essentially research rush the hell out of this game. We are going to do so much science that we are going to end the universe just by doing whatever we want to do. And it's not malicious. No. We are just going to basically leave the game. And it takes a lot of work to leave the game. You might think it's just scrolling over to the X button on the corner of the window and closing the window. No. We're going to do it the fancy way. And right now, I am just looking into which civics we will have. Although I probably shouldn't look into that until we choose an authority. We can be a democracy, we can be an oligarchy, we can run under a dictatorial rule, we can run imperial, and we can also run corporate. And these governments can basically set up branch offices instead of ruling many planets. Decisions. Or we could make them a gestalt consciousness, which opens up a new window into being a hive mind. And this gives us a lot of interesting civics that we can choose from, such as Void Hive, where instead of constructing space stations manually the entirety of the time, we could just have little drones floating around in space. Population, basically, that are adapted to space life, build mining and research stations for us. That may be what I end up doing, honestly. Although I will need to choose some civics that are in line. Unemployed drones also produce research points. Yes. We're going to be a hive mind today. Hive mind obsessed with robots. That makes sense. Although... No, because we lose the research speed buff. We need to not be a gestalt consciousness. We need to be extremely materialistic. as well as authoritarian. Yes, and will be imperial. Despotic homogeny, a megacore, totalitarian regime. You know, that sounds fun. Let's see. Do we have any good science options here? Slaver guilds. Slave happiness. Well. Technocracy. Capitol buildings replace some politicians with science directors. Scientists start with a random expertise. And they have additional effects. And we also get an additional research alternative, which will make researching a bit more colorful. So we'll get that. Technocratic dictatorship. I like that. I like that a lot. And we might as well... Well... What else could help us achieve our end? Corvée system, no. Crusader spirit, no. The Dark Consortium starts with dark matter drawing already researched. Dark matter breakthrough council agenda. We could immediately jump into dark matter production. Or we could have a police state. Or we could have necromancers. That sounds pretty on par with a technocratic dictatorship. So we'll go ahead and be technocratic necromancer dictatorship. Yep, that makes sense to me. And also, every game and every species empire that you make, you can...
I don't really have a lot to tell you. Governing the universe is actually quite easy, if you keep a clear head.
You can choose whatever voice you want to tell you things as you play the game. So you'll have things like authoritarian.
Maintaining state cohesion as we venture into space presents a unique challenge. We shall face the challenge head on, and we shall be stronger for it.
However, that voice doesn't really fit the vibe of these guys too much. Materialistic.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see the lower limit of... Oh, exponent 8. And carry the 1. Boundless horizons. Endless learning opportunities. Bleeding edge discoveries. Limited legroom.
Yep, that sounds right to me. And the Empire... This will be the Krang Technocracy. The Krang Technocracy. And the adjective for the Empire will be Krang. Yes. Imperial. That fits the vibe. It's imperialistic and a little bit technological. The colors will be bright green and white. That seems right to me, yes. And you can even choose a ship set. Sorry, I do know what I'm saying sometimes. So you have plantoid, mammalian, reptilian. Ooh, these are pretty nice, actually. Avian. I never use these, honestly. Let's take a look at them. Habitat. Juggernaut, Colossus, ooh, fancy, a Citadel, Science ship, that's actually very fancy. I may look into that, honestly. Then you have molluscoid, fungoid, anthropoid, lithoid, where you're literally rock people, so you fly rock ships in space. Necroid, Imperial, Imperial is very blocky. Yep. And then you also have Toxoid. And these are fun little shits. Honestly, I may just take this on. Then you have Cybernetic. Machine. Where is it? There. Oh, that's a Colossus. Citadels. You know, I think this fits. They might not be machines, but they are a technocratic dictatorship. And if I spent my entire life doing research and sciencey things, this is probably what my empire buildings would look like. Science ships, colony ships, construction ships. Yes, we're going with this. Starting ruler name, Blowab Squeeze Blister. That's a good one. Abscess Maggot Brain. Defectoric Ochris. Caucus Blight Wretch. Cocus Blight Wretch. Overseer. Overlord. There you go. Overlord Cocus Blight Wretch. That's good. And women can also be overlords. Clothing. Oh. Nope. Color variant. We can bring them more in line with my vision of the species. And also, every alien creature in this game has a noise that they make. That sounds right. That sounds like a Cocus Blight Wretch to me. And also, you can choose the first trait of your primary ruler. So they could be a scientist, an official, or a commander. And each one has related perks. And obviously, this one will have to be a scientist. And I'm not sure whether or not we should. We should go for I for talent. That way, our counselors and all the people in charge level up faster. Alright, it's the Krang Technocracy, a technocratic dictatorship with necromancy as a side hustle. They're authoritarian materialist, they're intelligent, they don't adapt well to many things, they're physically weak, they're natural engineers, and they breed rapidly. And they've been obsessed with robots since the beginning of time. This makes sense. This just makes sense. And we'll just leave everything as it is, because this is basically an introduction to my audience of Stellaris. Yes, this is basically just going to be a rundown of what I like to do in my free time. Here we go. And this is a very story-based game, honestly. And don't worry, I'll read for you, or you could skip ahead. In the eons since the first primitive Krang communities took shape on the great savannas of Nexus, our civilization has spread and I can't read either. Prospered. The birth of science and rational thought necessitated the removal of those political leaders who impeded technological progress through ignorance, superstition, sheer stupidity, or a combination of the three. Instead, a single qualified ruler from the scientific community would be chosen to guide our developing nation into the future. Now, after the discovery of the Hyperlane Network, the finest minds of the Krang Technocrat... I need to look up what that word means, or how you pronounce that word. The Krang Technocracy have finished development of the first hyperdrives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp. Okay, Cocus, let's go get it. And this is Stellaris. It looks like a lot of buttons, a lot of stuff on the screen. But this is where we live, and this is the first system that we live in. So, we are going to go ahead and choose our initial research. We have Spur and Rodeye, handsome fellow, as our head of research. And we'll probably change the name of his station later, but that's fine for now. And each of these technologies will help us in some way. Although, in this game, it's important to prioritize which research you do, depending on what you want to do. For example, we won't immediately be going into military. So the fusion reactor gives our military ships more power to use more things on them. And we'll get into that later. So we don't need that right now. We're going to increase our general research speed by 5%. Oh, and the research trees are basically spread into 3 groups: physics, society, and engineering. And we're going to go ahead and work on hydroponics, because I don't want any farmers. No farmers. And because we chose the mechanist origin, we can choose to immediately research modding our robots. We got a little bit of a leg up in that department. Let's see. And as you can see here, these are our buildings. We have a planetary administration, an administrative office, a dread encampment, where necromancers turn our consumer goods into research and naval capacity, as well as spawn undead armies. Commercial zones, robot assembly plants. And there's a lot of numbers here, but basically all you need to know is that we need to take care of housing, amenities, and keep an eye on the number of available jobs. Because on this planet, we are always growing more people and making more robots. And you can actually go in and repurpose, or basically, what's the term? Ooh, I'm having many brain farts today. You can deprioritize certain tasks. So, because we are low on amenities, I'm going to leave 2 spots open for clerk jobs, because they produce amenities. Actually, we would need 1 more clerk in order to balance out that amenity shortage. So, because I deprioritized 2 jobs, we have 2 jobs available. And that's how you do management. Put that on your resume. And this is the galaxy at large. Largely undiscovered, and there appears to be a little bit of a spicy sector heading outside of the traditional galaxy circle here. And we happen to be somewhat close to it. So, as long as no one claims that first, we can go look around over there. Each system that we live in will have resources. There are 18 energy credits, there are 17 minerals, and there are 15 engineering research. Hello, Luke Dune. All hail the God Emperor of mankind. Oh, yes. We're not really doing Warhammer 40k today, so it's more like all hail the Grand Dictator of the Krang Technocracy. Because these are far from human. But welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Let's see. We're going to go ahead and send our research ship, the KEC Corpse Eater, out on a little expedition. They're going to survey planets for us, as well as systems and everything else, so that we can decide what we're going to lay claim to. And I believe we have everything we need to get started. So I'm going to unpause the game and have our construction ship go around and do all the construction I need them to do. Not as cool a name, but I approve. Good. It took me at least 10 minutes to come up with this name. I'm doing quite well. For the longest time, I've had the itch to play one of my favorite free time games on the stream. Usually, I like to play something new, strange, bizarre, or generally unheard of. But today, I figured I'd relax a little bit. It is one of my days off, after all. And we have discovered alien life. Corpse Eater here has found alien life on Rhodalis 2. This down here. This amazing discovery has silenced those who believe we are alone in the universe. Although none of the alien creatures found on Rhodalis 2 are sapient, it is likely only a matter of time before we encounter beings that are. So, we found basic little animals on this planet, which is a big deal for the Krang. A big deal. HOI 4. HOI 4. I'm trying to remember what that stands for. First contact protocols. Excuse me. Our recent encounter with alien life forms has reignited and made suddenly more urgent the old debate on how we should contact any approaching intelligent alien civilizations we may meet. While some advocate establishing friendly relations as quickly as possible by contacting them with a message of peace, others advise caution, pointing out that we cannot know whether alien minds bear ill intent towards us and that it would be unwise to let them know too much about us before necessary. A third, more radical group pushed for preemptive action against them. With the security of all Krengai at risk, they say, we dare not hesitate to take whatever measures necessary to gain the upper hand against any potential Xeno threat. And that is... are we a bad dictatorship or are we a good dictatorship? Hearts of Iron. Oh, that's right. We can attack neutral entities. We need to do science on them. So, we're going to go with the hostile approach. And also, I need to go to our policies here. This is where you can dictate all the basic policies of your empire. And we are going to set our initial border status to closed. And I would institute an information quarantine, but we're not having any stability issues or anything of the like right now, so there's really no need. You can actually, in Stellaris, you can form federations, or if you're a more authoritarian empire like the Krang technocracy here, you can enslave the aliens of other species and eventually turn them into armies with some reprocessing. It's a good time. There's even slave markets in this game, which opens up once the galactic marketplace is established. Right now, we're working off of an internal market, and basically that means we're just trading amongst ourselves for resources. And as you can tell, we're not doing fantastic, but we're stable. White numbers mean stable, yellow numbers means that it's full, and red numbers means that we're losing resources. So right now we are perfectly stable. And you can even subjugate entire empires to work for you and contribute resources to your empire through vassalization, subjugation, a whole bunch of other things, honestly. You can even be a beneficial overlord should you choose. You don't have to be the, cliche dark overlord of many empires. I need this game to go on sale ASAP. I'd say so. Only downside is that it has a lot of DLC, and
Construction
I've been
project
lucky enough
concluded.
to basically buy each one as they came out a long time ago, since the game came out, basically. I wouldn't say it has as much as Destiny 2, but it has a decent amount. I'd say they're well worth it, though. Oh, it does have the subscription option, you're right. I haven't really opted into that.
System survey concluded.
Oh, no, occasionally our scientists will find anomalies on planets in the systems that they're surveying. And you can choose to have the scientist of the ship do science, basically, and look into it. However, since this is going to take us 450 months, I believe, and it's a challenging difficulty, we're going to leave it alone for the moment, because we can always come back to it later. And anyway, we are in our tradition selection. So basically, what this means is that we are going to choose a tradition that our empire will adopt and gain bonuses from. So first, we need to... Do we expand or do we learn? We learn.
Council
Discovery.
agenda available.
And by taking that on, we've got boosts to research and such. Which is what we want. And now that we have surveyed this system here, we can take our little construction ship, there he is, and tell him
Council
to
agenda
build
ready.
an outpost. It costs a little bit of alloy, and it costs a little bit of influence. And this is the not the Galactic Council. This is our council in the Krang Technocracy. This is Overlord Kokus Blightrich, our dictator. The head of research, Spurn Rodhigh. Horrible Gut Muncher is our Minister of Defense, fitting name. And Reek Shard Slimemouth. The UI isn't usually this bad. It's just because I'm playing in a smaller window. And here you can launch agendas as well as set policies and edicts.
Situation log updated.
Oh, that's weird. Usually I'm able to select another agenda. Where is the list? That's not great. To expand, one must learn. Yes. And since our Overlord leveled up, we can give him a trait. And all of these traits, with the little yellow spikes on the bottom, are Empire traits that their effects that apply to the entire Empire. So of course we're going to go with Spark of Genius. However, this is a little concerning that I can't see my agenda set. Strange. That is not good. We'll get back to that in a minute, I guess. Our head of research
Construction
is currently
project
captaining
concluded.
a ship. So we're going to go with Romer, which allows them to survey a bit faster. And we have found a planet that is potentially habitable. It's a savanna world with 70% habitability. Anyway, 70% for crime, and it's savanna preference. So, we can build a colony ship to colonize this planet. And of course, we get to name the colony, which becomes the name of the planet. We're going to name this one Pestilent Plantation. I thought that said the KFC maggot. Get some building over there. We need to establish a good foothold on the galactic stage before we really settle into our shoes.
Research concluded.
Survey allows you to build an outpost in the system. That way you can lay claim to it and do other things inside of that system, like populate planets, build mega structures, which come later, as well as other things. Because unfortunately, we cannot simply go to Dirham here and immediately start building star posts and such things, or mining stations, or research stations. It's unsurveyed. Something could happen. So, we have to build entirely within our sphere of influence, which is created whenever we build an outpost on a system. Scientist capacity or survey speed to boldly go. Yes, sir.
Construction project
Survey,
concluded.
outpost, colonize. Correct. And we've been completely ignoring our military fleet, and that just will not do. This is the fleet management screen where you can decide which ships and how many ships are going to be built into each fleet. This fleet, the Nasty Boobos, is currently consisted of 3 Corvettes, which are the smallest class of military ship that you can have, I believe. And we have, if you can see behind there, a naval capacity of 36, and our command limit is 20. So, we can immediately fill the queue and begin building new ships that will transfer directly to this fleet. And let's just get a little look at them here. There they are. These are what our Corvettes look like. Basically, small, maneuverable gunships. Our Minister of Defense is leveled up, so we will... I believe he's commanding this fleet. Yes, so we're going to give him aggressiveness, which makes the ships fire 5% faster. The 690 and the 10. Where was that? 690 and the 170, 2 different fleets. Oh, that's their fleet power. Yes. So our station has a military power of 690. And basically it's an estimate of offensive, defensive capabilities. So this is actually about 600% less effective than our space station right now. Which is to be expected because we only have 3 Corvettes. And let's take a look at the station again. We can build defenses. Eventually we can upgrade this station to be bigger, grander, and more potent, and also house more buildings and modules. We can build armies directly from our planets in the local system/sector.
System survey concluded.
And right now, we have the option to build assault armies or undead armies, because we took on the Necromancer Civic.
Research concluded.
Oh, the research is done. Moving on to better things.
Luke Dunhammer entered the lab.
Ah, welcome to the subscriptions. It's a good thing I heard that, too, because honestly, I did not know if my, alerts were still on. I just have a second screen here that has everything. More than earned. Well, thank you. And if you think the live stream was good, you ought to go see the other 200 plus videos I've put out over the past couple years. Generally, this channel is about bringing light to dark things. Tsetse flies, parasitic diseases, all sorts of spooky things. That most people would rather not hear about. However, I like to bring attention to it. I also do long-form videos as well. Not as often as I used to, but I'm still working on them, don't worry. How's our planet doing? Where is our planet? There he is. Oh, we have unemployment. So, your workers can become unemployed if there are no jobs. That makes sense. So, basically, what you'll need to do is open up a job for your unemployed loser down here. So, we will not open up a clerk job because our amenities are at 0, which is fine. It's not going to cause a rebellion immediately. So, what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at what we need. We need consumer goods, as our empire is growing rapidly, because these guys are rapid breeders. So, we will need an industrial district to be built. This will give us 2 housing and 2 jobs, 1 artisan and 1 metallurgist. They'll turn our red minerals into consumer goods and alloys. And the approximate upkeep of the single district will be 11 minerals. And we do have a free building slot here. However, pro tip, you don't want to fill these immediately, because these buildings generally give about 2
Initial
to 4
colonization
jobs.
phase commencing.
And if you have a building that isn't fully employed, it's wasting energy resources and other such things. Because simply by existing, these buildings can take up resources. Although technically you could build a building and disable it, but then you'd have to remember to go back and re-enable it later on. And when you're running a giant galactic empire, that is a little touch and go. Especially if you have attention span issues like I do. Now we look at our military fleet, and since we last reinforced them, they have gone from 174 to 349 military strength. They are now half as strong as our shipyard. Or starbase, I should say. And of course, you can speed up the game. You can go fast, fastest, or slow and slowest, in case you really need those slow-mo shots of your spaceships in combat. That's all I can imagine using it for, honestly. Does the amount of ships to one fleet increase with the level or the commander? There are commander perks that you can pick up that allow you to increase your command limit, which is how many ships can be in a fleet. And the command limit is different from the naval capacity, which is the number of ships that you can have in general. And once we start getting more and more into military, then, well, basically, some ships take up 2 ships, like destroyers, or cruisers, or battleships, or titans, and so on. And also we can do research through the technology trees that allow us to do more, basically. And once we get this planet going, we're going to turn it into a tech world filled with research stations. It's going to be our nerd rock. Unless, of course, we run out of some other resource before then, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And it looks like we have a potentially habitable planet over here. It's a savanna. So we'll send our second construction ship, the Ganon of Leeches, to the star base. Or to the star to build an outpost. And I'll go ahead and show you what those look like on their own. This is an outpost station. And basically this is just a starbase before it becomes a starbase. And however, you can eventually upgrade it into a starport. And that will turn it into another perishing of light station, basically. Oh yes. Flagships, etc., so on. The corvettes are the small gunships.
System
You have
survey
destroyers.
concluded without incident.
And if you go back to the fleet management screen, you can go into the ship designer. And here you can customize the loadout of each vessel type. So if you wanted to make a new design based on the Corvette that we have here, let's say we wanted to take... Oh, we come equipped with nuclear missiles. Interesting. If we wanted to, say...
Construction project
switch
concluded.
this small mass driver, which is a kinetic small weapon, with a red laser. You can do that. And you can actually see the laser being fitted onto the vessel, which is interesting. Do we have anything for auxiliary? We can put in a reactor booster. However, as you add and take off parts, you will have to keep in mind that your ship has a power stat. And that is determined by your reactor on the ship. And you can improve everything about these ships, from basic combat computers, fission reactors, the hyperdrives that they use, thrusters, radar systems, and so on. You can even improve the defense platforms at your starbase. Nope. Hold on, there I am. Okay, wonderful. And that gets more in depth as you research more technologies, find more ships in the technology tree, so on and so forth. This resource is Unity, and this is the tradition screen. I said that already. But Unity is directly used for the tradition screen. And basically, what this will do is upgrade our society in general. Like this. All of our science ships survey 35% faster than base scientist ships. And they also have a 50% chance to disengage from any, more violent beings amongst the stars. And we're going to go ahead and go with data bank uplinks, which increases research station output in space by 20%, and research from starbase constructions by another 20%. Basically, this game is about stacking as many numbers as you can, as rapidly as possible, as well as managing your numbers at home. Let's see, what do we need here now? We do need more rocks. We need more rocks. The mining district provides 2 houses and 2 miner jobs. Also, another little thing you can do with planetary management is to clear blockers that block you from building more districts. And it just costs a little bit of energy credits and time. 20% research output is very good. And we have another planet that we can colonize. Also a savanna, much like our home planet, I think. What was it, a home savanna? Yes, it was a savanna. I don't know why we... Oh, because we're non-adaptive. That's right. We're colonizing this planet, and we're going to colonize this planet as soon as we get 11 more alloy, which should be happening right about now. Yes. Star Mag Prime, Infectious Colony, Delirious Dogs, Cradle of Diseases. That's good. We love diseases. Let's see.
Construction project concluded.
And we have constructed our second starbase. As you can see, it is a little bit more in line with our other starbase now. And we'll need to build modules, so we're going to build a shipyard, and eventually, when we can afford it, an anchorage. And we'll probably end up putting a hydroponics bay on this one, because we need a little bit of food, and I'm not willing to pay ground
concluded.
farmers. Fertility preacher, food from jobs.
Blocker cleared. Nature
It's
will
good
not stand in
because
the way
it
of
increases the
progress.
growth of our population by 3%. So even though we won't be using the food from jobs too much on this run, the pop growth speed is always appreciated. Our Minister of State is currently waiting to be assigned to something. We have a scientist running this planet that is not our leader. It's better to have an official run a planet than a scientist most of the time, although scientists do bring their own unique perks to planetary governance. Your advisors and leaders do die eventually from old age, with some exceptions. Like, say, you're playing as a machine intelligence. Well, actually, those leaders eventually decompose. They fall apart. They break down. Through the use of certain technologies or traits to your species, you can basically make your leaders immortal, but generally speaking, most biological armies or empires have a lifespan. They have an expiration date.
Initial colonization phase complete.
And we have fully colonized our second planet, Pestilent Plantation, which will not be a plantation actually. It will end up being a research haven. But we're going to build a robot assembly plant here to double up on our population, because as I may have mentioned when we started, we have originated from a species of alien that really values their mechanical workforce. Where? Oh, there's the colony ship. Let's get a good look at that. This is our colony ship.
System survey concluded. Research concluded. Blocker cleared. Nature will not stand in the way of progress.
Nature will not stand in the way of progress. How many planets are in one sector? That can vary. I think you used to be able to... Yes, that is highly variable. This one has roughly 4 planets with moons, and some moons are habitable as well. This system... Oh, per sector. I see what you mean. Technically, you can have an infinite amount of planets and colonies in a sector. What determines a sector is how far those planets are away from each other. Because you can divide your empire into sectors. So this would be the Perishing Light sector, because that's the name of our home world. Or the home system, I should say. Or maybe it's the Nexus. Nexus Sector, that's right. It's named after the first planet of the sector. We'll go into zero-G refineries to upgrade our mining station output by a good 10%. We have surveyed another system. We're going to go grab those goodies. We have 0 jobs available on our planet. Let's see, what do we need? Another industrial district. And after that, we'll probably end up building an alloy forge just to make sure that our
Initial
military's up to
colonization
par.
phase commencing. Construction project concluded. System survey concluded.
Okay, give me a moment, advisor. During its survey of Entropy's Maw, the KEC Corpse Eater discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed dark matter. This exotic substance has many properties that seemingly defy several natural laws. It could potentially revolutionize the sciences. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. And there it is. The dark matter. We could... excuse me. We could get 1 dark matter out of the system should we get the technology to basically drag it out of the black hole. However, we only have the technology to exploit energy credits, minerals, food. I don't think you get consumer goods naturally from the planet. Sometimes you can get alloys. And you also get research from research stations. Spark of Genius. Research speed up. That is so weird. Is it because my screen's not big enough? I should be able to play this game in a window. I don't know. That will be something I'll have to find out for next stream, I guess.
Construction project concluded.
Yes, it'd be good if we
Research
could build
concluded.
a outpost over the black hole so that we can exploit it later. Increase survey speed. And I believe we've fully surveyed it. We're going to go ahead and claim that system. Spurn Rodai has architectural interest. Is he currently governing a planet? No. There's different types of leader traits that you can get, and they're basically separated into 3 categories. One is for, well, the basic ship of which they are usually in. So for scientists, it's research vessels. Commanders, it's either armies or military fleets in space. And for governors, it's usually governing planets, or securing our interests in the Galactic Council, which will come along later. And we also have another resource that we cannot exploit.
Construction project concluded.
It's roll. And we are really hurting for
System
alloy
survey
production.
concluded.
1 job remaining. Now would be a good time to establish a new building for jobs to spring from. Alloy foundries, of course. Eventually, we are going to run into more empires. Some somewhat like our own, and some that are very different. Intelligent life taunts with pointed absence. The report on the traces of alien life that were recently found seemingly add an ironic twist to the situation. Our empire is getting a little annoyed that we haven't found anybody yet. But that's perfectly fine, I only have about 6 systems. First contact can wait for a moment. Speaking of which, we have run into the aliens. News of alien ships humming through the ether has reached Nexus, in many ways ending the first chapter in the book of the Krang technocracy's bid for a stellar empire. Yes, it's not just us, unfortunately. And we will assign Atrafan Maddung to this first contact assignment. And basically what he's going to do is that he is going to roll a dice a bunch to establish contact with this alien species. And you have stats that affect this: difficulty, skill bonuses, and insights. And we should have you start constructing stations again. We don't have any alloys for defense platforms, which leaves us a little vulnerable. Gene clinics, yes. Gene clinics will help us grow more people faster.
Initial colonization phase complete. Construction project
It's
concluded.
the cradle of diseases. I forgot you were there. Let's see. This will definitely end up being an industrial or a forge world. Leaning towards industrial because both our consumer goods and alloys are a little low, and we're not gaining many rapidly. So, with that being the case, we will build alloy foundries as our first building on the planet to give them some jobs. Jobs are important, because an unemployed workforce is a rowdy workforce. Oh yes, the character empire creation in this game is very fun. Very, very, very fun.
Fleet enhancement supplied.
The appearance, which stage of mechanical evolution your empire is at, all sorts of things.
Anomaly found.
Whether or not your species eats other people, so on and so forth. We can actually review what we chose for our empire. Our governing ethics are phonetic materialism and authoritarian, making us a technocratic dictatorship. We also chose to be a dictator-run country. We took 2 civics, which is the max that you can get at the beginning of the game, as far as I'm aware at the moment. We chose technocracy, yes, which replaces some politicians with science directors at our capitals, because politicians don't really have much of a place in our society. And also, we do necromancy on the side. We haven't really done a lot with that yet, but once war comes, the zombies will be made very, very useful. In fact, I should probably start recruiting some on the planet. Recruit undead armies, and we'll assign a general for the planet, of course. We have Commander Influenza Flylord reporting for duty on our home planet.
Research concluded.
While conducting surface scans of Maligro, the science officer Spurren Rodeye and the crew of the KEC Corpse Eater discovered what appears to be an artificially carved slab of rock covered in alien writing. They have not detected any other signs of alien activity of the moon, and exactly how this mural came to be here is a mystery. We have prepared a special project to translate the text.
Situation log updated.
And pro tip about this video game, sometimes your science ships will find a special project, issue it, and then immediately go back to their automatic surveillance, which is technically what you told them to do, but it is a little annoying. So you'll want to pause your game, head over to where they found the thing, click on them, tell them to do the research project. And they will immediately begin scans and research, of course. We need more miners. It took them a minute to hit the brakes, it looks like. Let's check on our construction ship. Things seem to be going well. How are things on Nexus?
Construction project concluded.
Do we have nothing but
Construction
zombies on this
project
planet?
concluded.
Goodness, our entire military infrastructure is based on our dead. That's incredible.
Special project concluded.
Ah, it's already done. Science Officer Spurren Rodeye has managed to partially translate the alien mural discovered on Malgiro Law. The text contains a staggering amount of data, and the mural evidently serves as some sort of low-tech library. It describes, in broad terms, the collected technological knowledge of an alien civilization that dominated this region of the galaxy some 80 million years ago. A lot of it is already known to us, but the data does contain several promising leads for technologies we had yet to consider. There is enough data here to keep our scientists busy for decades. But we will need an orbital research facility to continue the translation efforts. And as you can see, there's a lot of research to be done on that planet. So, we will need to... There it is. Finish surveying the system. And then once that's done, we will be able to take over that ancient library and get a slight boost to our research. Our envoy is still working on making first contact. Minister of Defense. So technically, while these perks look great for planetary governor and sector governor, he's not a governor. He is our Minister of Defense. So, unfortunately, we can't go for Enlister, which I really wanted for our zombie armies, but aggressiveness is fine. And for some reason, I still cannot see my agendas list. That's a bother. That is a very big bother. Because usually you're able to drag the windows around. It must be because I had to change the resolution for stream. That is annoying. If you choose humans, can you find other human empires? Oh yes, technically speaking. In fact, there are a few pre-made human empires that exist in Stellaris right
System
now.
survey concluded without incident.
You have the United Nations of Earth, you have the commonality of man, and there's even perks that you can take on for human empires that allow you to basically have a selective kinship with other humans. So your trust cap with other species in the galaxy is lowered. However, whenever you find another human, you two will be besties almost immediately. So, technically, you could roleplay the Crusade of the 30,000th millennia. A group of investigators found a hidden factory on Cradle of Diseases. The building and its state of decay tells of an old civilization, one that excelled at constructing things that stood the test of time. Our population would easily be able to use the facility to add to the colony's production output. Human superiority. I don't know, I'm more of a fan of robots.
An alien empire has established communications.
Hello, what are you? A visitor. This is a joyous occasion indeed. Oh, forgive my manners. I believe introductions are in order. We are the Artisan Troupe. Our members have dedicated their lives to the pursuit of art, music, culture, and all other things which makes existence bearable to a sapient being. Please, if you would like to share in the wonder of our creations, do not hesitate to contact us. So these rocks think they know what fun is. And because we found another sapient alien empire, we are having factions crop up in our empire. And we'll look at that here right now. This is the faction screen. And based on how well we align or do not align with these factions in our empire, they will grant us a certain amount of unity, which is used for our tradition. Let's see. We have the Citizen Elite Union, I'm having trouble with words today. Totalitarian factions dream of a strictly stratified society led by a single authority figure or a cabal. And we have the Association of Scientific Ascendancy. Technologist factions desire an empire-wide embrace of scientific progress and the fruits of technological advancement. They dislike politically motivated bans on certain avenues of research, as well as being outpaced by the other empires. And so, each of these will have a list of issues that they would like us to contend with as an empire. They want us to be autocratic, which we are. They want us to live in a stratified society, which we do. They want us to be an oppressive subjugator of another empire, which we haven't had the opportunity to do yet because all we've met are artistic tree rock people. Ruler has the empire ethic. I don't know what's going on with that. Nothing's happening with that. That's what yellow means. And they are not currently represented on our council, which is bringing their approval rating down by 20%. Meanwhile, our Scientific Ascendancy faction is easier to please. AI has been allowed. We have rulers with their ethics. And of course, they are represented on our council. Now, we can manage these factions. Like, say, the Scientific Ascendancy. We liked them. They're going to help us out a lot. They're already giving us 7 unity. So, we can promote the faction, which will eventually, over time, make the populace appreciative of materialism over time. And that can affect the general happiness of the Empire, depending on what we do, of course. Because in this game, sometimes some of your population will be more materialist leaning, in our example, and some of them will be more authoritarian. So, we could also promote this faction. We could also suppress this faction should we not like them, but we are a technocratic regime. So, I think we'll support them as well. It's only right. I mean, we are necromancers after all. The Malgiros system has opened up to us. We are going to build the outpost there so we can get all of that juicy research out of it. We need to check our planets. Oh, we have unemployment and negative housing. So we'll build a city district which gives 5 houses. And then after that, this is technically a mining world, although I may change that. No, that won't be necessary. We'll build a mining district to provide another 2 jobs on top of that clerk job we're about to make. Our empire capital. We could in fact use another mining district. Yes, that'll do, that'll do. And if all of your planets are in the same sector, you have a sector governor who is, coincidentally, the man leading Nexus, the first planet we've ever had. And so because these planets are in the same sector as our main planet, the governor has outreach. Of course, you can always assign another leader here, should you need their, I don't know, boosts, buffs? Yes. Let's see. We have the jobs lined up here. We have no need to make jobs here right now. And we are making jobs here. We can also resettle unemployed population. Here we have 1 unemployed robot and 1 unemployed Krang. So we look here, we see which planet has the most jobs, and then we send them there. It does cost a little bit of resource, 100 energy credits and 10 unity. But that won't be terrible as time goes on. And we have found another pre-sapient species. Although Alblapus4's sub-zero climate is far from hospitable, the planet is not barren. Several avian species have evolved to withstand the environment. And scientist Spurin Rodeye, he does everything, believes that 1 or more of these creatures is capable of sapience, given the introduction of certain external stimuli. I'm ready to start a crusade by learning from the necromancer. You could do that.
Anomaly found.
There is actually a civic that you can pick up for
Research
your empire.
concluded.
Let me see if I can look at it real quick for you. Crusader Spirit. The lack of guidance creates weak minds, which easily succumb to corruption and plunge into decadence. This society has assumed the self-imposed mantle of bringing enlightenment to the masses through aggressive proselytizing. So, with this, you would only be able to use liberation wars, which I believe, if I remember correctly, means that you can lead a crusade against an empire that is your same species and liberate them of their previous lords and such. So, you could be a Crusader Necromancer. And of course, you would have a new council position open up for a Lord Commander, who improves your fire rate and army damage just by being there. And it's a commander position, so only a commander could fill that. But we are a technocracy. We don't need to worry about that right now. We have science to do. I like to imagine a shuttle landing from space, and then a bunch of Crusader zombies just crawl out with guns, screaming at the top of their lungs, or what's left of them, Deus
Construction project concluded.
Now we can have this ship begin
Construction project
construction
concluded.
things in this system. Look at him go. And each one of these stations will provide us a little bit of research. Or
Situation
minerals, or
log
what
updated.
the Cybrus. But if you don't have a fleet, doesn't that make armies useless? So, armies and starship fleets are actually kind of different. Let me show you. So, on Nexus here, we have been building quite a few zombie armies. Now, what we can do, we'll talk about this in a moment. What we can do is we can embark all of those zombie armies into space to mobilize them. So we'll go to Nexus. And now we have our technocratic zombie army in space ready to invade a planet. And they don't have a commander. Oh. Would you be a better pick? You don't have any trades. That man over there would be a better pick. Leaders. No, wait, hold on. We need to recruit that new commander, put him in charge of these guys, immediately unemploy him because this guy has no administrative perks for being on the council. And then we... oh, that did nothing. We take him, and then we replace him with Deke Mad Dung, who has a counselor trait that increases defense platform damage. And he's currently unassigned, so... let me fix that. We'll reassign this man to the fleet. And our Minister of Defense can be in charge of the zombie army. Now, just because he joined that fleet, they got a little bit stronger. However, we don't need this zombie army right now because in space, they have no weapons. These are actually just transport vessels. So if they were to run into anything in the cold dark void, they would be dead very quickly. So what we can do to save on resources, because having them up in space takes gas, we can land them back on the planet. Like so. And now they're safely nestled amongst the defensive armies of Nexus, waiting for their chance to strike. And I think we can fully reinforce the nasty boobos now. We've finally upped alloy production. The factories must grow. Are you building anything? Okay, you are. Everything's just going so slowly. Oh wait, maybe I misunderstood your question. If you don't have a fleet, doesn't that make armies useless? Technically, yes, because most of the time, a planet is guarded by a space station. And if a transport fleet enters a system with a starbase, they will quite literally fly around in circles, evading missiles and bullets until they either die or are forced to retreat. Because the transport vessels have no guns. You would need a military fleet to clear the way, so to speak. Like the nasty boobos here, who are finally having new ships added to their number. This I am excited about. We have no jobs. This was going to be the research plan. So, we're going to build research labs, which gives us physics, society research, and engineering research. and it'll cost 4 consumer goods. Which is fine, because we have other planets dedicated to industry. Or so I thought. Having a forge world is good. However, we need to diversify into consumer goods. Because if we don't have that, people will riot. If our people do not have their iPads, they will riot. As you can see, we're already up 3 crime from not having any houses. So we'll go ahead and build one of those. Pestilent plantation, no jobs. That's what we were just looking at, I believe. No. Nexus is doing fine. We still have 3 open jobs. Amenities is down by a little bit. But that's just because of the pops using up the amenities. More will come, more will come. And also, we can just continue generating undead armies on this planet for that particular army that we landed earlier.
Construction project concluded.
This game is great. You can be anything from a techno-zombie overlord to quite literally an empire that relies on space whales to carry seeds to other planets so that they can remotely colonize them. I'd like to explain how crazy that is. This is the galaxy. I don't know why oh, are these... It's the troop! I found them. We wish to become your patron. What does that entail? Allowing us to try new ideas and take more risks in our creation process. Sure. We want to commission an art piece. Oh, it's just like Twitter. Gain access to an exhibit art monument decision that can be enacted on one planet with the following effects. It adds amenities and immigration poll. We need more people to immigrate into our technocratic dictatorship. We need to force the galaxy to see things our way. Anyway, I got sidetracked. There is a civic that you can get that allows you to build a building in your space station that space whales will come by and eat from. And of course, like on Earth with squirrels and such, they will carry the seeds to literally random planets. And once the seeds fall off and land on a planet that you can occupy, you can simply open up your situation log and colonize a planet. And that's crazy, because normally you'd have to send a ship to survey the system before you colonize it. But if you're already living on the planet as a seed, and then you come out, they actually establish a space station for you, a space outpost, so that you can colonize the planet. It's really quite impressive. But yes, that's another option for what you can play as. You can also start the game as a vassal of a vastly more impressive empire than yours. You could literally start out as a subject.
Research concluded.
You can start in a galaxy that has ancient technology beyond your wildest dreams, but it takes a long, long time to research. So many things. And there's a lot of room for role-playing in this game. Like, say you want to be the goody two-shoes America First democracy. And you fight for the freedom of all aliens. You could actually do a lot to role-play that fantasy. Or if you want to be an authoritarian dictator like I am. expand the science division.
Anomaly found.
We can put that off for the moment. We need to build another science ship, and I think we're going to put a new space station here. Excuse me. There you go. Upgrade the starport. And let's see what that art piece did. Exhibit art monument. Art monument exhibited modifier. We could use more amenities at the moment. There we go. Perfect. Back to 3 amenities. Everyone's happy. This is our industrial world, so we will probably want civilian industries so that we can start crafting some consumer goods. Champion of the people or fertility preacher level 2. Let's do champion of the people. A happy populace is a productive populace. This system has been surveyed. I didn't need both of you there. Oh, that's got a juicy mineral deposit.
System survey concluded.
And it's been surveyed. Wonderful. Which one of you is doing the building? You.
Research concluded.
This is a game that you can spend many hours on quite easily. Which is pretty much why I play it. I mean, how could you not? It's got so much to do. Oh, let's see. What should we do next for physics?
Construction
Energy
project
grid.
concluded.
Always do global energy. Global energy management. I think I might have dyslexia. And we've run into another sapient species of alien. They look like a mushroom. Ultrafan Mad Dung. Get to it.
Construction project concluded. Anomaly found.
No worries, friend and / dear viewer. Have a good sleep, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever it is. Let's build here. And build here. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. How strong are these ships? Oh. No, we're not getting through that. No. Oh, it's Space Amoeba. This must be where they live. Oh, that's precious. Look at them. Long live the crane. We'll see how long they live exactly. Luckily for us, most space amoeba
Construction project concluded.
do not inherently go after your colony. They're actually just a little territorial at times. Oh, you've reached a veteran level. Very good. Let's see. You're the head of research, so we need you to veteranize into a counselor trait position as a statistician. It's very good. Well, I will say we have made a decent amount of progress on stream today. However, I will need to end it here. just simply because I have run out of time for the day. Thank you to all of you who have watched this or are watching this in the future, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!